first, can you just tell me about your history with Habitat? Why this charity? Why is it so important to you?
We got asked to be a part of a Habitat build right after Katrina, and we went to New Orleans, and I don't want to speak for Garth, but I think we both thought we were going to do some press, and we were maybe going to swing a hammer for an hour, and then we were out. And we just fell in love with everything Habitat. And that day, that first day, we stayed all afternoon. And we were just like, this is for us. And the more for me over the years that I've learned about what Habitat does and how they really do, they're solid. They keep their word. This is a handout, not a hand up, not a handout. Just the integrity of this organization has been true every time. And so we just got hooked and we never left. They couldn't get rid of us.
I think what they did was they stuck a hammer in our hand. I think we really thought, well, we know why we're being asked to be out there is do some interviews and say about it, but it's like, no, here you go. And man, next thing you know, you're out there hammering, you're talking, and it's like, hey, what do you do? And he goes, excuse me? I go, what do you do? She goes, I'm the person moving in here, and you're working right next to her? How cool is that?
And we got in the car at the end of that day, and I'm like, we built a wall today. Like, I thought it was so cool. We need to do that again.
We're in.
Talk to me about your history with the Carters, and how did this happen where they passed the baton onto you guys? When did they start talking about that with you?
Well, I just think President Carter loves you so much. I just think he loves Garth. But we started working on the Carter projects in that first in New Orleans,
yeah.
And we loved it so much. We built with the Carters on that first build, and they were just so kind and generous. And like Jonathan said today in the press conference, they're the same no matter who they're with, and they just treated us so kindly, and we just want to be involved. And their work ethic, just the way they are as a married couple, what they give to the world, and just the way they work on a site. We were impressed. We had to up our game just to keep up with them. And that's the truth. That's not me trying to be, that's the truth.
Yeah, and they've got 20, 30 years on us, and they still outwork you. But let's also make sure, Miss Sarah, that we're on the same page here. We're not taking over for them. Nobody can. This is a Carter work project, and as long as we're involved, it will always be a Carter work project. So we just kind of want to extend the legacy and honor them. But whether they're here today or not, which they're not, they're at home, they're here, right? So let's say 20 years from now, if we're doing a Carter work project, the president and Miss Rosalind will be here.
And we're excited today because we have Chip, his son, and his wife Becky here, and we have some of the Carter Center staff is here building with us today, so that's really cool. So those are all folks we know, so it's good.
Which I also think they will do it for eternity as well.
Yeah.
Chip could sit here, him and Becky could sit here and be 1,000, no offense to you or me, could be 1,000 times more helpful to you. But they really love the background. Right now, they're over there sweating. We're here in the shade doing the interviews, and that's the president's son and daughter-in-law. So it's nothing but respect for their family, because you can tell a lot about people by the children that they raised. And so that's a sweet compliment to the president, Miss Rosalind, but it's also a great compliment to Chip and Becky. Because if I was the president's son, I wouldn't be working. Yeah, so I love them.
We've been doing stories every month leading up to the build, and so we were able to tell the LaPree story, who was at the press conference today, and also another woman who was here for the first Carter Work Project 32 years ago. And she talked about having her sons in her house, and 32 years later she is still in that house, and her boys get to come and visit her. And so talk to me and just like what you are doing for all these families. Like, you're leaving a legacy for them by everyone out here that's volunteering, making this possible.
Well, these houses are built with love, and so everybody always says a Habitat house will stand. Like, you go into a region that after a hurricane or a storm, and there may be some things on the ground, but the Habitat houses are generally standing. And I think a lot of that is love, but it's also, I'm not a carpenter, so where one nail is good, I think four is better, and they might all be going straight, they might all be going different directions. So there's a lot of love in these houses, but I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and you're also you're building forever, right? Because can you imagine, I don't know about you, but never in my time when I had $4.19 in the bank I always had a roof over my head. Can you imagine wondering where you're going to sleep? Can you imagine wondering how much longer you can afford where you're going to sleep? Carter talks about basic human rights. And a roof over your head is one of those rights. And so I think what everybody does is, it's not what we're doing for them, it's what we're all doing for each other, right?
I think it's pride of ownership because, you know, these homeowners have worked, put sweat equity, and if they can't be out here swinging a hammer, they've worked in the office doing mailings or whatever. They've worked really hard, and they're not given the homes. They're low interest loans. They have the lowest default rate in any system ever because people take such pride of ownership that they work hard to make sure that they keep the house that they work so hard to build. So it's a good system and it works well.
How has being out here year after year changed you?
I think sometimes for me, I have to be reminded that I think I'm a grateful person, but I think I have to be reminded how grateful I am, and just to be reminded about that there is really a lot of good going on in the world, because we get to see all the bad and all the awful stuff that's going on. But this reminds me that we are inherently good and everybody wants to help each other.
Yeah, that's it for me. Especially with today, and no offense to the media, but the media has been jammed in. I got my degree in journalism. The media has been jammed into where the negative stuff is what we tune into. So to come here, see love, see unity, see that all are welcome. What do you stand for? I don't care. How do you swing one of these, right? That's what it should be. That's what makes it fun.
Trisha, I think you mentioned it maybe last night, but the women out here, and we covered the Women Build. They have these Women Build days. Why do you think that's so important?
Well, I think it's important because there still are a lot of women who believe they can't do this. And when I did my first habitat build, I had swung a hammer before, but that was really it.
Yeah.
And since then, I've learned to drywall, I've learned to frame, I've learned to do just about every job, because you have to do every job. And I think encouraging women to, you've never used a saw, someone's going to teach you how to use that, and you're going to have a skill. And so it's a confidence builder, which is so important, especially for girls, and to show you that you can do this. And when you're on these women builds, they get it done. I mean, I did a women's build in Atlanta with my mom, and somebody on one side of the house was doing their math calculations wrong. She was a teacher, and she had them straightened out by the time I walked on the other side of the house. So it's just wonderful to see women and take those leadership roles and really get in there and get it done.
Well, so the big difference is a man will muscle his way through this, and a woman will come along and go, that's not right. And a guy will go, it's good enough. And a woman will say, no, it's not. You need that, right?
Yeah. One of the things that Becky talked about last night was that was what she loved about Miss Rosalind, was that she was looking at that house with a touch of who's going to be living in it, and what are they going to see, and how should that corner be, and make sure that windowsill is right, and the things that are going to matter.
Yeah, man. As much as I love, I think I'm a love bug. That stuff doesn't register with me. She comes along and goes, so think about this. Then all of a sudden it's like, how did I miss it? So that's, again, here we go. One side needing the other to complete it. It's good.
For viewers watching who have maybe never volunteered with Habitat or been a part of this, what would you say to them?
Just do it. Just do it. You got to jump in.
Jump in with both feet. If you're paying to be here, you will never ever spend your money on anything better in your life. And what that money will bring you cannot be bought. It's crazy. So yeah, that's it. Just stop going, hey, one of these days, and make one of these days right now.
And you don't have to be, you'll learn the skill you need, and no one's going to put you in a position there's always someone at that house that is a leader that can tell you and show you how to do something, and it's so rewarding when you get it done and that wall goes up. I'm telling you, it's so cool when the wall goes up.
The thing though that totally gets me, that I know when someone's doing what they've been put down here to do, is when your hard hat shirt and your socks can match. That's pretty impressive.
There are important things to building, and there are hammers on my socks.
Yes,
little hammers.
With your socks. Oh, they have hammers on.
Yeah, these are Habitat socks. I got them several years ago. I don't know.
Just picked them up somewhere.
Those are great. You played in the Carolinas before. I have to ask, how does it feel to be back here?
They're exactly, when you're playing, you're going, I wonder what these people can do with a bunch of hammers in their hand, because they're crazy. This is one of those places that's the guaranteed good time. So you look on the map, Chicago, you get to play there. You look at Charlotte, you get to look at places like St. Paul, Minneapolis, which is wild. Sacramento, California, you look at it and go, these are all going to be guaranteed good times. Dublin, Ireland, Hamilton, right outside Toronto. These are all great good times. And so when you're playing here, you know that when they're going to come out and put on hard hats and swing, they're going to come at it with a passion. And I will tell you this has been the fastest I've seen anything pop up of all the builds we've done. I'm amazed we're
really
already
organized.
at this stage. And it might be the fact that every year they just get better in their preparations, but I have a feeling that Charlotte's got something to do with this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add about Habitat?
No, just the more that you can educate people that they don't give houses away. They don't. This is not a give a house away thing. These people have earned it. They have earned your respect. The people that live here and the dreams that are going to come out of here. Thank you, God. It's going to change the world.